we are and why we're qualified to talk about this. Normally we're just your coaches. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jessica. I am finishing up my Doctor of Chiropractic. I graduate in 2 weeks. Woo! Yeah, pretty exciting. So I spend a lot of time reading, researching. Manual therapy is all about getting people out of pain. So that's what I do.
I'm Jake. You guys know this, and again, we're coaches in here, but now we want to take a different angle, and I'm going to be, Jake, kind of more the exercise scientist, and Jess, obviously, the doctorate of chiropractic, and we want to talk to you about managing your fitness in the face of pain, right? And because these things happen, and we just want to take but we want to put some evidence behind what we're saying, so you know that we're not just doling out things that we think are important out of thin air, but this has some backing and hopefully can help you.
For those of you that know us, we are maybe the nerds of the gym. So this is going to get pretty nerdy. We're going to try to tie it back and make this a little less nerdy, a little bit more applicable to your everyday life. So feel free to interrupt and ask questions if we get off on nerdy things.
Make it organic, yeah. If we're saying something you don't understand, please.
Just use big words, please.
I know. We're going to use all the big words today.
Yeah, please stop us. Like, hey, what are you talking about?
Speaking of, we forgot the visual aid.
The visual aid, yeah.
So why are we here? We're here for all knowledge bombs, right? We want to be educated to build self-efficacy in the face of pain in the gym. And to build self-efficacy, we have to know what we're talking about. So we want to learn about pain to promote healthy behaviors in the gym. And that's whether you get hurt outside of here, it doesn't matter. Pain is pain. So, first things first, I want to tell you why we're not here. We're not here to treat the red flags. Red flags would be anything like, obviously, broken bones. That's a whole nother level. We're not here to talk about unexplained changes in weight, gains or losses, fever. Those could be indicators of more serious pathology. Bowel changes, whether or not you can stop going to the bathroom or whether or not you can go to the bathroom. That's, again, something a little bit more serious that you should go see a doctor for. And I also added in maybe orange flags, maybe not quite red, but losses in strength. And by that, I don't mean, well, yesterday I squatted 225, but today I can only squat 200. That's not what I mean. I mean, I can't hold on to my coffee cup, or I can't walk because I can't lift my toes. That kinds of loss in strength. And then shooting pain down your arms or down your legs. Those maybe aren't red flags that you need to go right now to get seen, but those can get serious pretty quickly. So those are things we want to watch a little bit. And then should you see a doctor for anything else, just regular pain or things like that? Maybe. I don't want to tell you not to. I don't want to tell you to go see a doctor. That's totally your choice. But if you do choose to go see a doctor, see someone who guides you and empowers you. Don't go see someone who's going to tell you the only way you're going to get out of pain is if you come here 3 times a week for the rest of your life. That's reliance on a very passive modality, and we don't want that. We want to have control of our life and our health. So when you do go, if you do go, also be clear of what your goals are. Whether it's, I want to be able to, I don't care if I can get back in the gym, I just want to be able to play with my kids again, or I want to be able to squat 300 pounds again. And so you can set up goals with them, benchmarks in your progress to how to get to those places. And then be realistic with them, and hopefully they're realistic with you on how you can get to those places. That make sense? Cool. All right, and then a question I get a lot is, should I get imaging? And by imaging, I mean x-rays, MRIs, CTs, diagnostic ultrasound. It's totally your call. It's up to your doctor. I'm not here to disagree with what your doctor says or what you want to do, but I do want to preface, imaging does not correlate to pain. There is a ton of research. I could have pulled up thousands of slides with research that show your imaging findings do not correlate to pain. Does that mean it's never the pain driver? No. That means there are some other things that we can try first. Unless it's one of the red flags, then maybe it's a little bit more urgent. But when we have time, let's try a conservative care treatment plan so we can maybe see if there's other things we can do. And then you are not your image. If you do get images taken, it's not the end all be all. You're not your image. So just some nerdy statistics that I found pretty empowering. 69% of asymptomatic hips, so hips that don't cause pain, have labral tears. 57% of 20 to 50-year-olds without hip pain show cartilage damage and ligament tears. 37% of 20-year-olds have asymptomatic disc degeneration. So that process starts really early. 50% of 30-year-olds have asymptomatic rotator cuff tears. I actually just sat in an ultrasound clinic all week, past 2 days and again tomorrow. I have rotator cuff tears. I have shoulder pain. And I'm 32. That is my life right there. And then this one I put in here because I hear it a lot as a chiropractor. 90% of the population has a leg length discrepancy. So if your doctor's telling you your pain's coming from your wonky hips, your hips are out of alignment, your spine's out of alignment, just look at the statistic. That's real life, right? So that should not be your treatment. You should not be treating a leg length discrepancy.
So Jess, are you saying that, you know, if we did MRIs and all these people in the room, we would find existing pathology if, even if they weren't experiencing pain?
Absolutely.
Sure, we could go looking for it.
Degeneration is wrinkles on the inside. So if you're old enough to get wrinkles, you're lucky. Wrinkles don't keep you from doing anything, right? Now I'm not saying that those are never the pain driver. I'm just saying pain is extremely complicated and extremely multifactorial. So that is not the only thing that we should be looking at.
Can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys know me personally, and
Sure.
you know my story with
Yep.
my chiropractor, whom I do not see any longer. But there's a fear mongering that goes on, and it's ironic that Jess is a chiropractor, yet she's not. The first two bullet points there pain does not correlate to imaging findings. My skeletal formation, or whatever you want to call it, is effed up, like really bad. And my right leg is about maybe an inch shorter than my left. So, and I'm 48 years old, so through time, it's gotten more and more effed up, but that doesn't correlate to my pain. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I smile because you are hitting on
Yeah.
a lot of, you know, things that if you go to a chiropractor, there are those out there that are fear-mongering and they want to tie you in for a lifelong process, and that's not necessarily what you need. So.
And I don't want to just pick on chiropractors. A lot of people
Doctors too.
will go see an MD
Yeah.
and get a pain pill or a prescription medication. A lot of people will go to a physical therapist and they'll be hitting the wrong points. And that's just the way that they practice, and you have to find a doctor that fits you, what your goals are, and if a pain pill is not going to fit your goals, find someone else. There are plenty of doctors out there. But I'm not here to tell you who to see, who not to see, just trying to guide you in making good choices to fit your goals. And if anybody wants a referral or a reference, I'm more than happy to provide them, either MD, PT, or chiro. All right, so now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of my portion. What is pain then? Pain, I said, was complicated. It's multifactorial. The nerdy definition by the study of International Association for the Study of Pain. It's an unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with actual or potential tissue damage. So basically, pain is an alarm. It's not an alarm to stop. Like when you hear an alarm go off, you don't know why. Like, is it your fire alarm? Is your fire alarm just out of batteries? Is it the phone? Is it the alarm on your phone to wake up? Is it the alarm on your phone to take your birth control? Like, it's the alarm is to tell you to do something. You have to figure out what are you doing. It's a call for action or change. That's all pain is. And again, it's affected by emotions, sensations, beliefs. So like the intro video that we posted, the biopsychosocial model, the cup, that this is all contributing to your pain. So your cup is filled with all of these things. And anxiety, depression, social life, nutrition, sleep, the things that we're gonna touch on today are in red: physical stress and kinesiophobia. When our cup is not big enough for all of the things in our life, that's when pain can be exacerbated, right? So our goal as your coaches is to help build a bigger cup through physical stress. Because stress isn't bad. It's just when we have too much of it, our pain can be exacerbated. But when we are experiencing pain, we want to be able to alter the physical stress and the kinesiophobia. Jake's going to talk about kinesiophobia later. So we'll get more into that. We want to be able to alter those things so they take up less space until we can build our cup again. Does that make sense? Okay. Cool. All right, now we're gonna get even more nerdy.
Good luck. This is complicated. But it's good. It's good.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break it down so hopefully you can have a better picture of it in your head. So how pain works. Pain is started by a stimulus, any stimulus, called nociception, and it's sensed by many of the millions of nerves we have in our body. There are several different kinds of nerves. These specific ones are called nociceptors, so nerves that sense nociception. They send a signal to the spinal cord for processing, and then the spinal cord relays the message to the brain. If it decides that that is threatening, the brain then amplifies or inhibits that signal back to the spinal cord for feeling. So how much pain you feel is not necessarily indicative of the level of damage, but it's how sensitized your system is. So let's break it down a little bit. So imagine the brain's the boss, spinal cord is the secretary who's placing calls through, but the brain has to answer, the boss has to answer. So the spinal cord's been the secretary for decades, boss's entire life essentially. So when calls are coming through, nociception is coming through, the secretary decides what goes to the boss. Now, maybe last week, the secretary missed a call, a really important call. Boss didn't get it. So now the spinal cord, the secretary's freaking out. Like, I don't want to get yelled at again. I don't want to get trouble. I don't want to hurt anymore. So now everything is going to the boss. The boss can figure out what's important and what's not. So when the boss gets overwhelmed, everything is important. Everything requires attention. Everything is painful. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hopefully it does. So, but the brain is able to amplify or inhibit. So that's when the brain amplifies pain, but we have the power to inhibit pain. And we're going to talk a little bit about ways to do that.
And just to piggyback on Jess, the brain. So we do not sense pain. Like we don't touch a hot stove and that's immediate pain. That's the brain telling us that the stove is hot and giving us pain to pull the hand back.
Yep.
If that helps you as well. Just to put it in that context.
So how do we turn our brains off?
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
That's how we do that.
Falling in love, I think is.
Love hurts though.
That's sometimes. All right. So again, this is just a wrap up. This is another thing about the cup. It's a different picture. Pain's multifactorial, and the brain creates pain from many factors. Fear, anxiety, like I said, history of pain, your stress response, so how big is your cup, beliefs about pain or about technique, for example, like lifting technique is a big one in our scenario, emotions, sleep, nutrition, stuff like that.
So if I understand, does the cup correlate with your pain tolerance then?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I know no. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it correlates with sensitivity.
Okay.
It correlates to how sensitive you are to pain. Is that clear
Yes.
enough? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to continue to try to flush this out because this is hard.
It's complicated.
Initial exposure to this information is hard to figure out immediately. So these are good questions.
Can I give an example of that too?
Yeah.
Like,
Go ahead, yeah, please.
for me personally, like I, quote unquote, by my imaging, I broke my back when I was 12. Well, since I was 12, all the way until very recently, anytime I've gone to do a deadlift, I knew that I was going to be in pain, and therefore I gave myself pain signals every time I did a deadlift. And I've deadlifted over 600 pounds, and every time I did it, it was like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to be in pain, and therefore I was giving myself that pain by saying, because I'm deadlifting, I'm going to be in pain, instead of saying, let's see if I can get my body to be healthy enough and give myself the signals, kind of like you said, Rick, like let's figure out ways to turn the brain different, not off, but let's turn signals to the brain different.
So that would be catastrophizing, which Jake's going to touch on in a little bit. So there are a couple of different things that we're going to suss out as we keep going. All right, so you went to the doctor, or you chose not to go to the doctor. What about treatment for your pain? So this is a really awesome table that Jake found that I really liked. So we've got acute low back pain here and chronic low back pain here. whichever. So acute would be, I tweaked my back in the gym last week, I'm still dealing with it. Chronic pain would be, I've been dealing with this pain for 6 weeks and it's driving me nuts. So let's start at the bottom. Ineffective or harmful bed rest. If you have someone telling you just stay home and rest, that is the worst thing you can do. Pain is a call to action. It's a call for change, not to stop. Is that clear? And let's go up to the top. The most beneficial thing we could do for both chronic and acute, stay active. Exercise therapy. Keep moving. That's the best thing that you can do. Now, does that mean you need to max out today? Well, probably not. And we're gonna
The answer is no. No.
I don't like that word. So, but Jake, that's gonna be Jake's part later on how we can alter how we move to make the pain better. And then, what about everything else? What about going to the chiropractor and getting manipulative therapy? What about taking NSAIDs? NSAIDs are one of the best things you can do if it's an inflammatory thing. Now, don't take too many of them. There's health concerns and all that fun stuff. But a lot of people I know here have gotten TENS machines or transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, or acupuncture. I'm a huge fan of acupuncture. Specific back exercises. Any of those things are great. Do them if they feel good. Don't do them if they don't feel good. However, those are all passive modalities. We want to not rely on passive modalities. Who wants to have to wear a TENS machine before and after they work out every day? Nobody. I haven't got time for that. Who wants? I know, right? Because it feels good. I mean, if it feels good, totally. But who wants to go to the chiropractor 3 times a week just because, your back hurts? Nobody. Let's figure out how to fix it and make it a little bit more permanent. Does that mean, we're all athletes in here? Does that mean we won't be going to the doctor for some of this stuff more frequently? No. If it feels good, go do it. Just, you don't need to do it a lot. Does that make sense? We want to have the self-efficacy to not rely on it. Questions about this?
Can you share that table?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please?
For sure.
Can you share all these slides?
Yeah, so I think we're going to try to post at least pieces of the video up, and then I think sharing the PowerPoint would not be a bad idea either.
Awesome.
All right, so now we're getting to the real stuff. Pain and exercise. Again, just some nerdy research. Fibromyalgia is a full body pain. It's kind of a crap diagnosis, to be honest, but a lot of people are diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Essentially, it's pain. You just have pain. Moderate to high intensity workouts have proven to improve pain.
But Jess, they have pills for fibromyalgia.
They do have pills for fibromyalgia. They do indeed. So, exercise is a pain reliever or an analgesic. Most of you hear analgesic as being pain medication.
Ben gay. No.
Yes.
No, sorry. I'm done.
So, like when you take a pill that is an analgesic, it releases chemicals in the brain to help inhibit pain. Well, weird. Exercise does the same thing, except our brain makes those chemicals and provides an analgesia effect to all of our pain levels. And that's called descending inhibition, just to get a little bit more nerdy for you. And another one I thought would maybe resonate is arthritis. You probably know a million people who've been diagnosed with arthritis. Arthritis is real. I don't tell you that it's not real. A lot of people have imaging findings of arthritis or lab findings of arthritis. Exercise also helps people with pain from their arthritis. And it doesn't change you physically. It's not going to regrow your cartilage. It's not going to make your bones less on bones. But it reduces pain through increased balance, strength, and endurance, and also this descending inhibition. So the safer you feel, especially with the elderly population who's at risk for falling, or things like that, increasing strength, endurance, and balance is going to help reduce pain as well. Bottom line, we are strong and stable. We just need to change the perception of threat or the sensitivity level of our systems. And we do that by loading it. We need to keep moving. We want to achieve positive responses to stress. We want to make a bigger cut. Cool? References for any of you people that would like my references. Oh my goodness.
Let me write all those down real quick.
That's the nerd part.
Yeah.
I want the reference to the arthritis? Where it says
That, I believe, was Greg Lehman, Pain Fundamentals. He has a lot of really great stuff for patients. That's where I got a lot of this information. He is a chiro who does, he's a research chiro.
I'm just
So,
gonna take a picture.
yeah, absolutely.
Are you gonna post the slides and stuff like that?
Yeah,
So we can-
he's not part of our.
Oh, cool.
Come to the gym, dude.
He's part of my crew. So it's probably how we.
Yeah, so for those of you who are CFO members, we do have some people from Lindenwood here, which is pretty awesome.
Hey, you're gonna go over like what to do and like how to feel safe in the gym and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I won't ask those questions.
Yeah.
Not yet. So yeah, Jake's gonna go.
Wait,
To be
ask
honest,
your question, sorry.
to be honest, Jake's gonna be a little bit nerdier than me.
No.
Weird, right? Totally weird.
That's why we wear slacks.
That's right.
No. So Jake's gonna hop in, he's gonna tell you a little bit more about